One of human folly is not preparing for death. If there were a fire in your house tomorrow, you would mobilize all your equipment and be fully prepared for the fire. However, although people clearly know that they will die, they make almost no preparation for death. This is truly ironic. So let's first explore what death is. This is because we must know death so that we can prepare for it. Furthermore, only when we know death can we know what life is and live life properly. The reason we must do philosophy is because it is practicing death and preparing for death. Death means the death of the ego. There are two types of death: physical death and psychological death. Physical death is easily known to everyone. As mentioned before, our bodies were created as we grew and did not exist from the beginning. Since it came from nature, it must return to it. We must go back to the five elements: earth, water, fire, air, and space. This is the death of the body. Meanwhile, psychological death refers to the death of the I-ego. What we usually refer to as I-ego refers to the collection of experiences we have accumulated while growing up. It essentially represents our past and memories. How would you know who you are if you lost your memory? Even twins with the same face have different thoughts. The root of thoughts is the collection of a person's experiences. The collection of those experiences becomes a lump of energy and becomes an ego. Energy is matter. Matter follows physics. Therefore, ego also follows the laws of matter. Among them, there is something called universal gravitation. The gravity of the ego, that is desire. Then, psychological death refers to the death of the ego. Escaping from this gravity of the ego is the death of I-ego. When that happens, our life appears in the place where the desire of the ego disappeared. We become one with our primordial world that we lost at some point. Our hometown that existed in those pure and innocent times, that is, with the original life. In Buddhism, this is called enlightenment, and in Christianity, it is called the kingdom of God, the heaven within. The path to enlightenment and kingdom of God is possible by escaping from the desires of the I-ego. That is psychological death. The reason I am afraid of death is because of the I-ego. The reason we are usually afraid of death is not only because of the death of the body, but mainly because of the death of the I-ego, which is a collection of experiences. As we grow up, we have identified the body with I-ego for so long that we have mistaken the body for I-ego. This is why we are afraid of the death of the body, thinking that I-ego will die. If you lost your memory and did not know what your body looked like, you would not feel any sadness, even if you saw your body lying down. Even that is an experience and memory, an I-ego. In the end, it is the death of I-ego. So, the reason we are afraid of death is because we do not know death well. Whether it is physical death or psychological death, death is nothing more than the death of I-ego, a collection of our past experiences. Therefore, young children who do not know much about death are not very afraid of it. So, who is most afraid of death? It can be said that it is a person with a strong I-ego. That is, a person with a strong obsession and desire for everything. They are afraid of the death of that obsession and desire. However, life, our essence, never dies. Death is simply the death of what was created as we grew up, not our essence. Therefore, we do not need to be afraid of death at all. In order to do so, it is important to realize that one's essence is life, and that I-ego have no substance, that I am merely an illusion in a mirror, and to escape from the domination of that illusion. Originally, there is nothing bad about nature. What we think is bad is just our subjective opinion. Natural death, not accidental death, is a very good thing. It would be truly painful if our bodies were no longer useful and were only suffering. Death is what allows us to escape from that pain. That is never something to be afraid of. Is the odor bad? No. Because of the bad smell, we know that it is spoiled and do not eat it. If food goes bad but doesn't smell bad, we will inevitably get an upset stomach or food poisoning. The same goes for physical and mental pain. If a nail is stuck in your foot and you don't feel pain, your foot will soon rot. Having mental pain causes us to pursue a more pain-free life. Therefore, it can be said that everything that happens in nature is always for overall harmony and balance and better evolution. Natural death is nothing to be afraid of.